kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello, and welcome to episode 248 of the Rotten Views podcast. Hopefully you guys are ready for what I'm hoping is going to be a fun episode, but it's a blind watch. And like most blind watches, upon doing this intro for the movie, I actually haven't watched the movie yet, so I have no idea what I'm getting into. I've seen the trailer for this movie, and I've seen some clips from the movie. That's about it, though. I know nothing else about it, other than it's a Charles Band-related film, and we all know who Charles Band is. For the most part, if you're listening to this podcast, we've done a lot of Charles Band-related movies, so hopefully this one will be as cheesy and stupid as all the other ones, because I enjoy those type of movies. But before we do get into the episode at hand, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, like we like to do each and every single week.
Housekeeping?
Don't think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God!
As always, if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to give it a star review, a star rating, whatever you want to call it. If you want to give it a 5-star, I appreciate that a lot. If you want to give it a 3-star, 4-star, whatever it might be, even those dreaded 1-stars, I'll still accept those because, you know, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it does matter to me. But if you want to give me a 1-star, I'm going to put a curse on you. But that's besides the point. It won't hurt my feelings that much if you do. Just a slight bit, but that's okay. But the thing that you guys can do the most, that helps out the most, is just hitting that share button. No matter where you're listening, if you're on Spotify, CastBox, iTunes, YouTube, wherever it might be, wherever you're listening to the podcast or watching some of the videos, just hit that share button. It does help out a lot. And as always, make sure to check out all my social media links down below in the description. Pretty much find me on all social media accounts at Typhonsign. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We also have the YouTube channel. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel where I post the weekly gaming video that drops every single Wednesday. Old episodes of the podcast drop every single Monday. We have various shorts over there as well, community posts, and we also do live streams. I actually just got done doing a live stream about 20-25 minutes ago, and it's been a busy Saturday. I will let you guys know that this episode is being recorded on the same day that the last episode just dropped, so we are, you know, a good week ahead of schedule. So hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully I can get actually a couple episodes done this week. But like I said, it's been a busy week. I do the weekly lunchbox surprise series for my daughter's lunch. So every time she goes to daycare or school or wherever it might be, I stash a drawing in her lunchbox, which is a fun series for me to do. But I also have other series. I've been drawing a lot of Courage the Cowardly Dog villains. We got 2 weeks worth of those as well. I'm going to be gearing up to do my October sketches early, hopefully. At least that's the plan. 31 days of 31 days of Halloween related drawings. I don't know what the theme is going to be yet. We've done some horror movie ones. We've done Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, and Scooby-Doo villains, I think, was the last year's theme. So I'm not sure what this year's theme is going to be just yet, but I'm sure it's going to be something pretty fun. We got the merch shop heading back up again, so that's going to be good. We got some new designs dropping in the next couple weeks. And speaking of merch, we also, for the other project that I'm working on, because I have two main projects, CWC, Canadian Wrestling Championship, we have a couple different versions of the shirt up there as well, black on white, white on black. We also have the Pride Month style design with the Pride flag in the back of the logo to support that as well. Definitely go check that out. Those have been selling pretty well, like all the different variations of them. So definitely go check it out. It's pretty cool. I personally drop a weekly video on the site every single Friday. We're going to hopefully be getting some more videos out there soon, and some more wrestler content and whatnot. So it's a long process. It's going to be a fun process. Who needs sleep? That's a thing of the past. Actually, I've never been one to sleep. I only average like 4 hours a night, and I'm okay with it. I've been doing it for like the last 15, 20 years because I just don't like sleep, and that's besides the point though. But yeah, I know it was all over the place. But if you guys can, just follow me on all social media accounts. But check out the YouTube channel for sure, because we have the most content for your buck there, even though it's free. So that's besides the point. But we have the community posts. We have the This Day of Horror posts that go up on the community side of things. We have the live streams as well. So definitely, if you want to check out some of the live streams, hang out in the live chat, or play some video games together. We got that. Been playing a lot of Dying Light 2. We got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We got Crime Boss, GTA Online, Fortnite. So many different games that we play. Just a variety of things that I like to do, just to switch it up a little bit. So there's hours upon hours of free content for you guys over there as well. So I think that's enough of me promoting my own stuff. So let's talk about the movie at hand. If you guys clicked on this by searching, thank you a lot for checking out Seedpeople. If you have this saved to pre-download, well, we're talking about Seedpeople from 1992. This movie has a 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 2.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. 68% of Google users apparently enjoyed this film. Initial release date was May 28th, 1992. It has a runtime of an hour and 27 minutes, an hour and 21 minutes, depending on where you look at it. So you can also watch it for free on Tubi, because of course we're on Tubi, because we love watching movies on Tubi, because it's a great app, and I definitely highly recommend you guys check it out. So the description for this movie, as read from IMDb: the citizens of Comet Valley are being taken over by seeds from an alien plant that has taken root there. A sheriff investigates the strange going-ons. That's pretty much it. The director for this one is Peter Manoogian. I'm great at butchering last names, and I butchered that one for sure, and I'm going to keep doing it because that's what I'm good at. Oh, Peter there is best known for being the director for 1984's Rage War. He was the production manager for 1981's The Howling. He was the director for 1986's Eliminators, as well as the director for 1989's Arena. Arena was a fun movie. I actually watched that one. It almost looks like Rock'em Sock'em Robots in a sense. It's the alien fighting movie. I enjoyed it. It's not great by any means. It's got 5.3 on IMDb. I might have did it for the podcast. I can't remember if I did. If I didn't, we're going to add that one to the list too, because I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure it was free on Tubi as well at the time that I watched it. This movie has 2 writers credited to it, and of course the first one being Charles Band. He was the producer for 1984's Trancers. He was the producer for 1992's Dr. Mordred. He was also the producer for 1989's 13 Nights of Elvira. Puppet Master. He's also the producer for all the Puppet Master movies. So, there's that. There's a lot of those ones. He's also the producer for 1990's Phantoms. Pretty much anything that has a Full Moon Entertainment or Media logo on the beginning of it is a Charles Band related creation. Most of them are. It's essentially his version of Trauma. So, enjoy it if you do. And if not, I'm sorry that you decided to listen to this episode where I'm going to be talking about his stuff, because you might not enjoy it. It's not for everyone. I can let you know that for sure. The other writer credit for this movie is Jack Hansen, who was the writer for 1983's Mandroid. He was the writer for 1989's Nowhere to Run. As well, he was the screenplay writer for 1983's Robot Wars. I remember that one a little bit as well. It's also like a Rock'em Sock'em Robot fighting movie. From what I remember, I could be completely wrong on that one, so don't quote me on that one because it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of the type of movie it is. We're now at that section where we're going to talk about a couple of our leads. The first one we're going to talk about is Sam Hennings, who's playing the character of Tom Baines. He's also known for being in 20 episodes from 2010 to 2011 of Memphis Beat, where he plays Whitehead. Don't know if that's a racist TV show or not. Not going to go into that at all. In 2024, he was playing a character named Ray in The Neon Highway. As well, in 2020, he played Dale in 4 Good Days. Movies that I don't know a single thing about, so I don't know if they're good, don't know if they're bad, and I probably won't watch them because they don't sound that interesting to me. The last actor we're going to talk about is actually Andrea Roth playing Heidi Tucker. She was Deandra in 2015's Dark Places. She was Jenny in 2007's War. She was in 93 episodes of Rescue Me from 2004 to 2011, as well as she played Victoria in 2009's The Collector. That's such a good movie, not gonna lie. I haven't watched the other. I think there's 2 other ones that go with it. The first one is great though, and I enjoy it a lot. Oh, before I go too far, I almost forgot to mention what the tagline for this movie is, because I like to do that on every episode. And the tagline for this one, pretty simple, straight and forward, right to the point. The root of all evil. But with that being said, I think we're going to get started on the movie at hand right now, because I am getting tired. It's like it's only 11:30, but it was a busy day. My kid had a birthday party to go to. Then, like within an hour after that, we went to the local fair, which she then spent 3 hours at the fair. At first, you know, she only wanted to go on 2 rides, and then it was a hassle to try and get her to try any other rides. Then she went on a couple other rides with friends, and then she ended up doing every ride except for 2 of them. And one being the roller coaster, and the other one being the Fury thingy. It spins around really fast, so I'm not surprised she didn't want to go on it, because it also goes up really high, and she doesn't really like heights. But it was a good night nonetheless. I just feel like the little bit of fair food I ate is weighing me down, because it was good, but it was fair food, and I'm tired. So we're going to get started on the movie at hand right now, and hopefully we'll be able to do it all in one sitting. I hope so. But like I say with every episode, if this is your first episode, thank you for showing up. If you're a returning listener, I thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming back each and every single week. I don't know why you come back to listen to me talk about movies, but I appreciate it. But like I said, if you're a new listener, I'm going to talk about this movie from start to finish. Hit all the points in between that interest me. So if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1992, feel free to pause it now. It's only an hour and 21 minutes. Go check it out on Tubi. Go watch it and then come back and listen to me talk about the podcast. Or just sit back, relax, listen to me talk about the podcast, movie at hand, and either you'll really want to go see it or you'll just be happy never watching it ever. I leave that call up to you. So with that being said, if you're at home, grab some snacks, get comfy on the couch or the bed, wherever you might be, your chair, on the floor. Maybe you like laying on the floor. I don't know. Maybe you're in the garage. I don't know. I don't know where you guys listen to the podcast. I don't know why you listen to the podcast, but that's besides the point. Just get comfy, get some snacks, all that good stuff. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. Hopefully it makes the hours pass by a little bit faster, or hour, I should say, because that's usually the run time of the podcast. And if you're driving, make sure to keep your eyes on the road and make sure you get to where you're going nice and safely. And with that being said, we're going to get started on the episode of the podcast right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
In Comet Valley, the seeds that aliens have planted have grown inside of human souls.
Somebody's fooling around in that orchard tonight, Thurman. Look, I got a crop I gotta get in now. Something's gotta be done about this.
The question is, are you one of them or one of us?
Now, they are readying mankind for the harvest that will enslave the earth.
This is the creature I saw in the room with her, Heidi. We can't be sure about anyone anymore.
Please, run!
I'll chop you to pieces. I have unleashed a terrible thing on the world.
Seedpeople, the root of all evil.
course, we have our movie starting out with that Full Moon Entertainment logo just flashing up on the screen. You know you're in for not really a horrible movie, well, some of them depending. It's going to be a bad, cheesy movie, but hopefully you're into bad, cheesy movies, because if you are, this is going to be right up your alley. We got the Seedpeople font just popping up on the screen. It's nothing fancy. It's just a basic style font. As the intro credits start to roll in, the music starts to pick up a little bit. And we aren't really sure what we're getting ourselves into just yet at this point in time. So after the intro credits are done rolling, we just jump right to a memorial hospital where we see this patient on a bed. You know, he's struggling with the doctors a bit. And the doctor's like, you need to calm down and stop struggling so we can deal with what we got to deal with. So then the doctor's like, you know what, this is going to help you. How about you just take this needle into your veins? That way, you know, you'll start to calm down a little bit and stop being so crazy. All right there, buddy? And then this federal law enforcement officer comes in, and we find out that it's Tom Baines, the main character, on the hospital bed, struggling, being like, hi, if you can help me get out of here, I'd be very appreciative of this. So this shot right here is happening at like the end of the movie because Tom's like, you gotta make sure that I killed them all. You gotta make sure that I got them all. And the agent's like, okay, well, just start from the beginning and tell me about the story. And that's when he's like, alright, I got to Comet Valley, and he said the bridge was getting ready to close. I got in before the bridge was closing, and it was going to be a few days before we could get back out because it was the only bridge in. So Tom is at Comet Valley to stay for a little bit because he's working on some project. I don't know what it was. Anyways, he gets to the spot where he's going to be staying. It's this big fancy house where he's renting a room inside of it. It's supposed to be a big old Victorian style house that's turned into like an inn. And we also find out that the lady who's the innkeeper is, you know, an old fling or an old friend of Tom. And he's, you know, talking to her. She's like, you know, I'm not the same little person I was back in the day when we had a little fling. You know, I've matured a lot since then, and I'm not going to fall for your trap. And of course it's Heidi, that's the girl that's stalking. And she's like, you know, well, how's it like for you to be, you know, with your ex-wife and still, you know, you're broken up and you're divorced, but yet you're still living there. And he's like, I just haven't moved my stuff out of there yet. You know, we're not actually working on it together, anything like that. You know, we're actually separated, but, you know, I just haven't had the time to get my stuff out yet. That's why I'm still living there. And she doesn't believe him at all. So then we have Tom showing at the orchard where we see Ed and Thurman arguing at each other because Ed's like, you know what, there's something out there messing up with my orchard and I can't handle this because we're not going to have a crop or anything if we don't figure out who's messing with the plants. And Ed's blaming everything on Thurman because apparently Thurman found this like rock on the orchard and he's claiming that it was like meteorite or a chunk of a meteorite. So apparently Ed thinks all these people are coming around on his property and it's destroying the property because they keep, you know, stepping on everything because they don't care and they're oblivious. Then we find out for this town the deputy sheriff has a thing for Heidi, Tom's ex, and apparently he's always been chasing after her, but, you know, nothing ever happens between the two of them. So he's not a happy camper by any means. Kind of find out, it looks like the sheriff lives there with them because he just, you know, started taking a jacket off and everything, and, you know, he's there to talk to Heidi too, but he's also looking like he's making himself comfy, like he's at home. And of course, the deputy's like, you know, you didn't tell me your ex Tom was coming here and staying here in the bed and breakfast. You know, what's he doing here, Heidi? And she's like, well, he's here to hunt for some, you know, comets and meteorites and all that other crap with Thurman. He's like, yeah, well, that's okay that he's here to hunt that stuff with Thurman, but you never mentioned that he was living in the bed and breakfast that, you know, is our home. So then we cut to the orchard. It's nighttime. Someone's there turning on the water system, the like sprinkler system to help the trees, you know, get some more water so they can grow stronger and, you know, have a better crop of apples. And he's walking through the woods now, or the rows of trees, and there's this one tree that's just in this random row with nobody else around. Well, no other trees around, I should say. And it's just got these weird plants growing from it. We can hear this squeaking sound. Kind of almost sounds like little kids talking. So he picks up a stick and starts poking at it, the plant. And the plant just starts oozing some white substance. And I don't know what it is, but then it just starts squirting all over the guy. And then by the end of it, we can just see that he's completely covered in this white substance, and he's almost in like a cocoon form at this point in time. Then out of the cocoon, we can tell that it's a little bit harder now at this point in time. One of the Seedpeople monsters breaks through the cocoon and slowly starts coming out of it, and then we see him like hobbling beside the guy's truck that just showed up, and it's a unique monster design. It's a little bit dark to make everything out, but it does look pretty interesting. And then we hear the phone ringing, and then that seed person turns into Frank, the guy that was just murdered by the seed person. He's like, hi, Frank here, how can I help you? And then the guy goes to talk to him, and Frank just hangs up the phone on him, being like, it's no big deal. Then we just see Deputy Brad, who's out walking the streets essentially, and this lady pulls up, be like, this teen tried to buy some alcohol at my store. I didn't let them get away with it, but I just wanted to let you know. He's like, thanks for keeping everyone safe. She's like, you just keep an eye on my liquor store for me. And then we just cut to see Tom and Thurman walking through this cave system that apparently Tom used to go through during his kid stage, but none of his friends would actually come with him. And they're looking at the walls, and there's carvings on the wall, kind of like the old school native caveman style art pieces, but they're different in a sense because I don't even know what they look like, to be honest with you. Tom's trying to claim that it was a Native American that carved into that wall, but I don't even know what the Native American was carving, because that looks like nothing. It might be a star with some stuff coming down behind it, but I have no idea because it doesn't look like anything to me. So then at this bed and breakfast spot, they have this housekeeper, I guess you could say. She does all the groceries, but it looks at too, and all the cooking and everything. So I'm assuming she's of a different race that's known for being a gardener. I don't want to be racist by any means, but that's how the movie's setting up. Anyways, Kim's outside with her camcorder watching as I think her name is Miss Santiago is standing on the balcony calling her in for dinner, and because Kim senses there's something wrong with Mrs. Santiago, and that's when the seed person comes out of the woods and grabs at her, and she starts screaming and running towards the house, and then the seed person forms into a ball and just starts chasing after Kim as she's running up the stairs, and she's screaming for her life. And then Tom's in this little writing nook writing about it, and he just comes out being like, what's going on? We see Kim running up the stairs and Heidi being like, what's the matter? And then the door bursts open, and we assume it's going to be the seed person, but it's Mrs. Santiago. And then Tom's just like, so what's actually going on around here? Or Heidi, just so I'm aware of what's going on. It's like, Kim being Kim. A few days ago, she kind of thought Mrs. Santiago was possessed by a demon or something, so I'm not really too sure what's going on, but she's not too comfortable around her. I told her to go stay with her dad, but he's not really her dad, so he can't stay. She can't stay with him, so she's stuck here. It's now later that night, or maybe it's the same night. I'm not really too sure what the timeline is, but I'm assuming it's another night, or that night. And Thurman, I believe it's Thurman, and one of the other guys is like, man, Frank left the watering system on for the trees. So they go to check out the trees, and they're like, what the heck is going on here? Look at this tree. It's growing some weird pieces on it. And we can hear it talking to us. I better go over there and check what it is. So then Thurman and the other guy, it might be Ed actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they start looking at the seeds on the tree. It's like, this one looks like it's already gone to seed, and this one looks like it's gone to get ready to blossom or something. So I think Ed pokes at it, and then all these little seed balls just start engulfing Ed, and he's screaming for his life, but he's just getting attacked by all these balls. They're all just forming to his whole entire body and making him drop to the ground. And then Thurman's watching as this all happening. He's like, you know what? I'm actually going to take off now. Good luck to you, Ed. So then the FBI agent is talking to Tom while he's still in his hospital bed, being like, so when you were doing the seminar talking about everything, was the doc there? Was the doc present? And Tom's like, no, we kind of stayed away from the doc because, the doc was known as being the town nut, so we didn't really want to get him involved just yet, because then definitely people wouldn't be on our sides about the whole situation going on. So we then see the doc driving his truck, and he's set up this blue light in the passenger seat. I'm not sure why, but he's drinking alcohol too while he's driving. You shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong, doc. You're a doc. You should know better than this. Anyways, the doc also gets rear-ended a little bit, but not in a dangerous way. It's just a love tap, so the doc knows that there's a truck behind him trying to run him off of the road. Anyways, while this is going on, we see Tom is at this meeting. It's kind of like a city hall council meeting, and for some reason he's discussing with the town how the town got their name. No one knows about the comet that came down. Usually it's destroyed by the the Earth's atmosphere, but this one survived and made a hole in the ground. That's how they think what happened, at least. Anyways, we see the Doc is getting his truck rammed to the point where he accidentally looks like he runs over a person who's drunk walking down the side of the road. So we then see Tom leading that meeting. It's later at nighttime. I think this guy outside waiting for him is Vern. He didn't want to be seen inside the spot because he's like, you know what, I didn't want to say anything because I don't want people thinking I'm crazy. And, I was digging on my property, though. And then my backhoe hit this rock and it made some weird sounds. And, here it is right now. It's in the trunk of my car if you want to take a look at it, I guess. So then Tom is looking at the rock in the back of the trunk of the car. He's like, hey, mister, you might actually have the meteorite that this town comet is based off of. This might be the actual rock that's left. The guy's like, yeah, maybe, I guess so, eh? So now we see the Doc is now in the Comet Valley relay station where he's playing around with the power systems for the town. And he's got like blue lights on his head and his arm. And then one of the officers shows up being like, so what you doing there, Doc? And the Doc's like, hey, you need to stay back. I'm trying to stop the people that are in this town destroying everything. And I got a hatchet in my hand. And I don't know if you're one of the Seedpeople, but I'll use it on you. So then the Doc and this deputy get in a little bit of a scuffle. And the Doc gets outside, gets in his truck, and goes to drive away. And then when the deputy comes out, he gets tackled to the ground by one of the small Seedpeople. And then this giant ball comes rolling at him. And we just hear him screaming and fighting for his life. And now it's the next day. So we now cut to like the shed by the breakfast inn. And we have Tom sitting inside there with a big giant rock that has some skeletons from what I'm assuming is a dinosaur maybe inside of it. Anyways, Kim and Heidi are there, and Kim's working away at getting the dust and dirt off it. And she's like, you know what, Mrs. Santiago's got my dad, brainwashed too. She's an alien. She's definitely not the human being that we hired. She's crazy. And then Heidi's like, you know what, I told you she's got 2 weeks off. So what if she's not gone just yet, but she is leaving. So you need to calm down and stop being so rude to her. And then we have Brad, the sheriff to be, showing up. So I got some issues. Thurman's dead. It was a hit and run. So he was the guy walking down the road who looked like he was really drunk. And he's like, I know who did it too, because there's only one vehicle in this town that has hubcaps like this, and it's that crazy Doc. He ran Thurman over for some reason. So we then see Tom inside, and he goes to go into his room, I think, or maybe the study room, and the door's locked, so he plays around with the key, and then we hear this ball rolling at him. He opens up the door, and then the ball expands, and of course it's one of the Seedpeople, and he sees it. He gets all scared and slams the door shut, and next thing you know, he falls on the stand beside the door, and then the door opens up and it's Mrs. Santiago coming out of it, and Tom's looking around the room being like, Miss Santiago, what happened with the creature that was just in here 2 seconds ago? And she acts like she knows nothing, of course. Then while Tom is outside in his other office looking for the microscope at the cell that he has, the Doc shows up, and the Doc's looking a little bit crazy, and he's got a gun in his hand. He's like, it's not what you see. It's very different than what you think it is. The Doc keeps talking a lot gibberish. He's like, I don't know if you're one of him or one of them or one of us. The thing you're looking through, the test sample is not what you think it is. It's a weird alien vessel of some sort. And Tom's just like, sure it is, Doc. Can you put the gun away though, please? Then as the Doc's pointing the gun at Tom, he's like, the deputy over there, he's looking for me. He's like, I know he's looking for you. He just wants to talk to you about some stuff though. And then he's like, alright, go get the deputy then, as I swig back on my alcohol a little bit more. So Tom goes to get the deputy, and he's like, he's over there? Alright, well, I'm going to load my gun and make sure it's ready to go in case this crazy guy starts to shoot at me, because I'm going to shoot at him first probably. And then by the time they get back into the building that Tom was in with the Doc has gone. And then the deputy's like, you know what, you just let this guy get away scot-free? He's like, well, I thought he was giving up. He said he was, tired of running and tired of doing all this crap, so I figured he was going to stay here and wait. And the deputy's like, you know what, this guy could have killed a police officer, because now I have a missing officer as well, and I have no idea where he is. Then Tom, for whatever reason, goes to talk to Bert, who's working on his little farm. He's like, so I'm not here to cause any troubles or anything. I'm just curious, do you know how to get to the Doc's house? He's like, yeah, just keep going straight up the road, it's on the right there. You can't miss it all. He's like, oh, okay. That was so hard. Apparently, if you just drove another 5 to 10 minutes, you probably would have found the Doc before he disappeared again. So then we see Tom talking to the agent again. He's like, I waited to till midnight, till late at night, to go up to the Doc's home, just hoping that I would actually run into him and find him. I didn't find him though, but I did find his testing area, and it's lit up by UV lights. And then I just decided to break into the home and just do a little bit of exploring with my giant ass flashlight. We see Tom going through the Doc's science lab. He's got this old school computer turned on. He's looking at a fish tank, just looking around for any clues as to what's going on with this meteorite that might be causing these seed people to be alive. So we now see Kim. She's in her room, she's brushing her hair, and then she notices something outside. It's nighttime again, so it's like the fourth night that this movie's been going on, and she grabs her giant cam recorder and starts recording outside, and it's just a bunch of different groups of people, what looks to be walking around just flashing flashlights in various directions. So as Tom is exploring the Doc's office a little bit more, he finds this desk that has this giant shell on it. It looks like it's intact, but it just pops off the top of the shell like it's no big deal. Inside the seed or shell or whatever it might be is this alien life form that's kind of just moving around on its own a little bit. It doesn't faze Tom at all, so he starts looking at the paperwork beside the desk, and then he goes in to wake up Heidi, being like, hey, so I got some issues around here, and I don't know really who to talk to him about, but there's some weird alien shit happening, just so you're aware. And Heidi starts questioning Tom, being like, so has everyone gone crazy around here? Because Tom's trying to say that the comets or the meteorites that keep falling to the ground are actually the alien seeds, and apparently the Docs also tried to plant one of the seeds to get the plant to start growing, but of course it didn't work out at all. And then Tom's like, Heidi, look, everything's written in this book right here. Doc's been keeping records of it, and you need to understand and follow it. And she's like, you know what? I'm not having any of your crap. You just need to get out of my home. So then after kicking Tom out of the home or the room or wherever he might be, Heidi goes to check on Kim, who's apparently sleeping on the couch by the looks of it, but it's actually a decoy the whole time because Kim is in the woods recording these people walking around with flashlights, which is really just the pod people the whole time. So then as Kim's recording, we hear one of the balls coming towards her, and she ducks behind a tree. Apparently it doesn't see her at all. And then one flies over top of her. It doesn't see her at all. And then we have Frank being like, Kim, what are you doing here? Why don't you come to daddy? She's like, you're not my daddy, I don't know what you are. And then she watches him change into the ball version, and now it's just her running for the woods at night while this seed person ball is, chasing after her. And then luckily enough for her, I guess, she's running out of the woods and runs onto the road. And then we see Tom is in the truck with Heidi, and he has to swerve, and she runs into the side of the door of the truck. Camcorder falls to the ground, and she's freaking out, so they all hop in the truck to, get away. And then we see the seed person just, coming into scene as the truck is driving off. And it's now the next day, and of course Tom's trying to get Heidi to believe some of the stuff that's going on, and she's freaking out, and he's upset. He's like, I'm sorry about the camcorder. I accidentally ran over the truck when Kim ran out of the woods and hit the side of the truck. I tried to swerve, all that fun stuff. And Heidi's like, you know what? Kim's trying to use the camcorder being broken as proof to what she's saying. But, I can't believe her at all because, there's no such things as aliens. I would say it's the next night, but it's actually morning because Tom's laying in bed. He can't sleep. He looks at the clock and it's 5:15. So he goes to sit at his desk and starts working on Kim's camera to try and restore the film to at least have something to look at. And now it's the next day, and he has Heidi sit down and be like, so the camera's a little messed up still. I got the film though working, and it's going to look a little weird at point in times, but I need you to actually watch this film. That way you know what's going on. So then for some reason Tom, Heidi, and Kim go up to the Comet Valley relay junction area, and it's been days now, and all the cords are all messed up still from when the dog was playing in there, and everything's sparking and popping, and nobody's come up to fix this thing at all, and it's just been doing that the whole time. If it blows up, I'm assuming the whole area is going to lose power. Then while they're up there, Kim freaks out because right beside the building that they're just in, we see feet just hanging out of the grass, and it's the one Deputy Fraser who was killed by the alien creature when he was trying to chase down Doc. So then Tom and Heidi and Kim go to the police station by the looks of it to try and stay safe. And Tom's like, you know what, I'm going to grab a gun. Doc's definitely around here somewhere. He knows what's going on. He knows at least a little bit of what's going on, and I need to try and find him. That way we have a chance of surviving whatever's happening. And of course he goes to that tunnel where the carvings are, and we see the doctor sitting on the ground asleep. So Tom sneaks in, takes the dog's gun, takes all the bullets out of it, and then puts the gun back down and kicks the doc to wake him up. And of course, the doc fully thinks that Tom is one of these seed people and doesn't believe him at all, and goes to shoot at him a couple times, and nothing happens, of course. And he's just freaking out, being like, what happened to my gun? He's like, fine, I got this hatchet there. I'm not going out without a fight. I'll take you on with the hatchet. So then Tom tries to question the doc, being like, so why did you run over Thurman, I believe was his name. Blanking now for some reason. And he's like, no, it wasn't me. It was Ed and Tucker. They're seed people, and they're ramming my vehicle, and I accidentally ran him over when I ran away from it because, I didn't want any legal issues. And then Tom and Doc started talking about the carvings on the wall inside this cave area, and Doc's trying to say to Tom that this is just a snapshot of when the seed people arrived on Earth. This is showing them showing up here, and if we don't stop them, they're going to take over the whole population of the planet. Then we see Tom and the Doc in the lab together, and Tom's looking around all confused, and Doc's like, you know what, I thought they were prehistoric seeds, from, a higher life form this whole time. I didn't think they were like an actual space alien. But now that I see what they're doing, we can clearly tell that they're an alien. And then the doc tries to explain his UV lighting system, because apparently the seed people can't enter your mind if you have UV light on them. It stops them at all point in time. I'm not sure how he figured that out or not, but apparently it works. So then the doc and Tom are driving the truck, and we get closer and closer to the destination where we're going, and Tom freaks out because he sees Frank's truck is there, and they already assume or know that Frank is one of the infected seed people. We then see Tom sneaking into the police station. That's where they were going. And we see Frank was a seed person. He's infecting Kim. Or I think actually, no, he's infecting Heidi. And Kim's already watching from afar because she's already been infected. And then we see all of them coming out of the police station together. And they're just walking like mindless drones because they're all infected by the seed people. So you got Frank, you got the deputy guy, and you got Heidi and Kim. So of course we see everyone driving away, and Tom's like, you know what, I wasn't able to follow them or get them. And then the FBI agent's like, you have a gun, why didn't you just shoot them? He's like, well, I could have shot them, but the alien creature would still be alive and probably go to a new body. I just want to make sure I got them all at one point in time, or one shot. That way we don't have to worry about this again. So then we just cut and see that Tom is following them, and they're following them to this field that's near apparently Ed's farm. And inside this field, it's just a bunch of seed people doing a bunch of work. It almost looks like they're trying to like flatten out their earth, or at least get all the debris away. That way something can happen. But then Tom's like, well, what are they doing, Doc? Are they planted? And Doc's like, no, they're not doing that. Don't worry about that. So then we see Tom and Doc hiding behind a tree with binoculars, being like, that's so damn seed down there. What is that? It's huge. And we see a bunch of people working on it. And I think the doc says it's a giant coal seed or something like that. So then we see Bert being like, hey, guys, what the hell are you doing here? And it's Tom and Doc stealing all the UV lights. And Doc's like, that's why you're not a seed person, because you got all these UV lights here, and you're safe. So now you're not going to be safe, because I need to try and fight off all the people in town and get rid of them and make, the seeds disappear. Then as Tom is just getting ready to take the supplies at the end of the road, or this laneway for the greenhouse, we then see Frank showing up, and Tom's like, alright guys, we gotta hide because I don't know what these seed people are gonna do, but it's not gonna be good if they find us. I got a gun though, so I'll at least shoot them if I have to. So then Bert, not wanting to stay with Tom and Doc, he comes running out from behind the bushes and says to Frank, being like, you gotta be careful, he's got a gun over there and he's crazy. And that's when the seed people change and start attacking Bert, so that allows Tom and Doc enough time to jump into the vehicle, get the supplies they need, and speed down the road. So then we see Doc and Tom are getting ready to set up their trap. And then the deputy and Heidi show up. And they're looking at a truck and they're trying to find the thing that they need. And Doc's like, see, we're irrelevant. They don't care about us. They're just doing their own thing. And they're just after the big seed. And that's when they go into the building. They see the big seeds underneath a UV light. And then we have a fight breaking out between all four of them at this point in time. We see Heidi and the deputy are stuck underneath this UV light, and they change back into normal humans, and Doc's like, it's a UV light, that's all we need, it's just enough UV light, and we'll be able to burn all the people back to their normal selves. We see the deputy and Heidi are in the flatbed truck, and they go to park at the alien site, I guess, where all the seed people are loading pieces of this seed into the back of it. And Heidi pokes her head out the window to try and see how things are going. But of course, Mrs. Santiago is there and kind of notices her and knows something's a little bit different. So then they have to act cool again, like they are infected by the seed people. That way they don't get attacked. Then we keep cutting back to Tom and Doc as they're trying to set up this trap with the UV light. And, you know, Tom's trying to wire stuff into the circuit breakers, and things keep shocking at him, but it seems like he's making good progress now at this point in time. So then as the deputy and Heidi are getting ready to leave this alien test site area where they got the big seed, and they got the little seeds inside the back of the truck, the aliens are trying, or seed people are trying to make them go a different direction, and Heidi's like, oh no, it's not, they're not going by the whatever subject it is. I forget what test site. So then the deputy's like, you know what, hold on, I'm going to floor it. And he floors it to the direction where they need to go, and we just see a herd of seed people chasing after them. And then Doc is getting into an argument with Tom, and Tom's getting pissed off because the Doc wants to keep one of the seeds, and he's like, you know what, we know how to control it, everything will be fine, we just can't let it pollinate, gotta keep the light on, that way it keeps it, you know, in a sleeping state. And then we see the deputy crashing the truck at the station where they gotta be at anyways, but you know, everything's not really set up at the point in time by the looks of it. Heidi's yelling at them to set up the lights, but you know, the Doc's still working on things, and then the seed person starts flying towards Tom. He's fighting him off with a fire extinguisher, and then we see Heidi and the deputy hiding underneath the truck waiting for the lights to come on, and then another seed person is looking at them, like crouching around, and then the Doc's like, okay, well, this cord isn't long enough, so I'm going to hold it as close together as possible, and essentially electrocuting himself at the same time. But the lights come on, and the seed people start to get fried. And then Tom yells over at the deputy and throws a shotgun at him. Deputy picks it up and goes to shoot the one seed person that's there, like the original version of it, and he does shoot it, and it just makes a screeching sound and falls over. No blood, no guts, no nothing. And then we cut to Tom, who's taking a hatchet to the small seed person that came out of his face. But then nobody notices that Mrs. Santiago jumps in the front of the truck and starts driving away with it, and it still has all the seeds in the back of it. And of course, no good's probably going to come of that. The deputy does his best Terminator run and catches up to the truck, and he's at the driver's window, and she just keeps punching him in the face until he falls down. But don't worry, it's okay, because Tom gets on the back of the truck and starts taking a hatchet to I think the gas tank or something in the back of the truck. I'm not really too sure what he's hatching at, but Mrs. Santiago hears that it's happening, so she pops open the door and starts hopping on the roof of the truck to start fighting with Tom in the back of the truck. Miss Santiago pushes him through the wooden rail of the truck, but he comes back up and he has a piece of dynamite. He lights it and throws it at Miss Santiago, and he goes to jump off the truck and smashes his head on a rock. But then we see the truck going off a cliff and blowing up because of the dynamite, and then we cut to the present time where we see Tom in the bed talking to the FBI agent. Then we find out Heidi's in the waiting room waiting to see Tom. And then the FBI agent's like, so, what happened to Doc, after you grabbed those wires? And Tom's like, he was so badly burnt that nobody would be able to recognize him. And then Heidi starts walking into the room, and she looks like a seed person because she's acting differently. And then the FBI agent is like, everything's fine, we don't have to worry about anything. And then Mrs. Santiago walks into the room too, and Tom's starting to freak out a little bit. And then everything just fades to black, and all we hear is Tom screaming in the darkness, because we know that the doctor, the FBI agent, Mrs. Santiago, and Heidi are now seed people. Well, Miss Santiago's always been one, but that's besides the point. But we know the seed people are still there, and Tom's never going to get out of that hospital ever, because he's either going to become a seed person or just be stuck in a mental asylum. Not sure which one's going to happen, but that's the end of the movie. The outro credits start to roll. And I gotta say, it's not a bad movie. The cover image definitely looks better. The monster design on the cover image definitely looks a lot cooler than what we actually get. We don't see them too often And it's weird that they change into a ball. And it's weird that they're so furry. Because, you know, it's like a plant alien. I wasn't expecting them to be like balls of fur when they're rolling around, kind of like critters. But that's alright. On the rotten scale, though, out of 10, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 10. It's not great by any means, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's a Charles Band movie, so what do you expect? So, it is what it is. But that brings us to the important time where we've got to pick what we're going to be watching next week. Alright, so next week we got another blind watch because it just sounds like a really fun movie. And I'm really looking forward to this one. It's on Tubi, so if you want to, you can watch it ahead of time on Tubi for free, and then come back and listen to me talk about it on the podcast. But for next week, we're going to watch an action horror movie from 1982 for an hour and 27 minutes. It's called Raw Force. The description, as read from Tubi right now, this is what caught my eye. While on a mysterious island, the Burbank Karate Club faces off against kung fu fighting zombies, slave traders, and cannibal monks. It sounds stupid as hell. So it should be a good one, right? Hopefully it is. With that being said, hopefully you guys will check out that episode next week. As always, make sure to check out the outro band, Toronto-based horror band, Blood Opera. You can find all their links down below in the description. Definitely
go check them out on Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, wherever, you know, Instagram, Facebook, all the fun stuff. Like I said, all the links are down below. I am getting really damn tired, to be honest with you guys. I'm crashing hard. It's 1:30 in the morning almost now. So, as always, make sure to check out all my links down below in the description as well. At Typhon, you can find me on all social media accounts. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. But definitely go check out the YouTube channel. We have the community posts going up, weekly gaming videos. Weekly game video drops every single Wednesday. Old episodes of the podcast drop every single Monday. We do live streams over there as well, so definitely go check that out. There's hours upon hours of free content. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.
See the shadow of a stranger. Turn around and your life's in danger. This crazy world's in a grave situation. Check the children, are they sleeping? Will they wake from the siren screaming? Don't blame the heavens, cause it's man's creation. Yeah, shocker, shocker. We're led like lambs to the slaughter. Shocker, shocker. We're in the fire and it's just getting hotter. See the light, it's the city burning. The homeless shudder cause the leaves are turning. Winter's coming and it's cold compassion. Killers loose and the dead stay.